You're listening to MayaCast, the Carlos Bostria show with slightly appearance by Kip Parcell and Tom Shadil. Enjoy this podcast.
Reporting from Warsenal Studio B in Chandler, Arizona, this is MayaCast. Hola, and welcome to another episode of MayaCast. I am your host, Tom Shadil.
I am also your host, Kip Luis Parcell.
True story.
That
and
is
this
true.
is episode 131 for Friday, May 5th, 2017. Cinco de MayoCast. So it's Cinco de Mayo, which nobody really knows what it means. They just eat tacos and drink tequila.
Yeah, Cinco de Drinko
And
here in the U.S.
Without actually, celebrating the reason for the season. And so, and we have an episode today. So, hola, Kip.
Hola, Tom. Tomas.
And salud.
Yes. We are cheersing our beersing.
Except bottle against can.
Yeah, that didn't ping as much as usual.
Bottle against can. No good audio action there. We apologize. Coming up on today's show, longtime listeners will know that when they hear that mysterious Spanish voice at the beginning of the, of the program, that there is some sort of news or information. So that is coming up. We'll have some Infinity June releases for you. And then we are going to dive into our extensive mailbag. And we have something for all the different segments, so we should be hitting them all throughout the course of the episode, covering a variety of different topics. And so, a lot of good questions, a lot of questions that my answers will make me unpopular. So everybody always enjoys that. And
fun.
Welcome. Glad you are with us on this Cinco de Mayo. Listening to Infinity and enjoying that amazing trailer that Corvus Belli put out today.
I'm absolutely floored. Like, this is something that I've wanted, and I can't wait to know more. Like, I want to click the "Do you want to know more?" button like 1,000 times right now. Yes, I do.
So very cool. It's like a Marvel movie trailer with all the comic book characters and then the music and the way. Yeah, so expertly done. Really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to learn more. So very cool. So Kip.
Yeah.
How is that Escalation League of yours going?
You know what? If you haven't run one, you should, especially if you have new players, because I am getting nothing but positive feedback. We have Lewis, our really good friend, that's running one at the same time on the other side of this large city that we live in, and he's been having positive results as well, not only from beginners, but from veterans. And it's actually funny because a lot of the veterans are just like, man, this is so much fun because I'm learning new units and just not worrying about being ultra competitive, just like learning something new and fun. Same with me. Speaking of Lewis, I played him on week 5. We have 3 weeks left after we'll be playing.
So this might be confusing.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that Lewis is running an Escalation League on the far northwest.
Yes, northwest.
And you are running an Escalation League in the far southeast.
Yes.
And Lewis is also playing in the Escalation League that you are running.
Yes.
Close to home. Okay.
Yeah, so he comes down, plays in ours since he's doing his own. So I got to play him, and he's playing Corregidor. I'm doing Vanilla Yuching, which I am so sold on that army. It's really good. Played supplies, and he smoked me. Such a good game too, and it came down to like my last 4 orders and his last 4 orders of each of our last turn to sway the tide. And it was like I missed every single crucial roll that I needed to gain back because we just had popped all the all the boxes are just sitting out there. Mm-hmm. So I had one plan to get at least 2 of them back behind a suppressive Yanhuo HMC. Failed everything that I needed to do roll-wise. So then I was like, well, I'll just try to hold on to one and keep him off the other 2. Didn't happen. He had a great angle to drop double smoke with a Hari's Senior Massacre that came in and massacred my Yanhuo.
Nah.
And then I had nothing to cover since there were 2 other things that he had killed on the other side. So he ended up grabbing all 3 boxes like with his last 5 orders. And I was just like, well played. It was good. It was a good match. It's very chess. Like there was back and forth the whole time. And I had advantage going in. Like top of turn 3, I had advantage. And then no. He just smoked me. Popped my ninja's brain with his killer hacker. And then knocked me off another one. Came in and Senior massacred my poor... Like he massacred my Yanhuo. So it was a really good game. But all in all, everybody's enjoying it. The updates on Facebook every week did the Google Sheets so people can see both the raffles where they stand. So we're doing 2 raffles. Mm-hmm. They can see the missions we play every week on a different tab. We're keeping track of scores each week, by week, and then placings. And I like to keep them where you were the previous week before I change them on the last day. So like there was somebody that was 10th last week and just moved up into 5th, which was really cool. And you can kind of see that before I change them all in. So it's really cool. There's a lot of information, a lot of visuals, and people are having a good time with it.
Good. I mean, the tables are packed every Monday night.
Oh, yeah.
And most people are making it only 1 or 2 like makeup games that have to occur.
The participation is my favorite.
There's like 4 or 5 dudes that come to play Infinity that didn't join the league, though.
Yeah.
That kind of bums me out. I wish they were participating, too.
I agree.
But they just kind of sort of play with each other.
Yeah, and I felt kind of bad this last week because we had 6 tables set up, so enough for 12 players. Mm-hmm. We had 8 of our players there at that moment. So I had to go over and tell them, hey, you cannot play on this table, this table, or this table. You can get those 2 because league guys come first since we're already here. I apologize about that, but I felt kind of like a jerk being that adamant. But like I didn't want us to set all the tables up and then our league guys have to wait because usually like we get our games out of the way and then half the fun is going out to dinner afterwards and kind of getting to know each other and talking, and that's part of the community building. Like that's half the fun of Monday night is we all show up, we play, everybody pitches in to put the tables away, and then we go out to dinner. Like that's our Monday ritual. And I didn't want people coming in and kind of stealing away from the people that are there to play the league. Well,
and the people who played the Escalation League also paid to be in it.
Exactly.
And
so I had to be a bit of a jerk, and I felt bad, but hey, sometimes you got to be a little bit assertive when you're running something like that. It's like, you feel free to play after them, but we have 8 guys that showed up that paid to play. They get their tables first.
Hopefully we can convince them, the league wraps up soon, and so, we won't be stuck playing each other. Mm-hmm. And then after that, hopefully we can convince them to play other people than each other, right? It's always the same 4 guys only play. Then hopefully we can, split them up.
Yeah.
And assimilate them into the larger group.
Exactly, right? Then we could go to Cornish Passy and have a table for 16 instead of 12.
Table of 12 last night. Crazy.
So good. It felt like we were at the end of a Viking battle.
You know what? The best part of that was a lot of those dudes had not been to Cornish Pasty ever before.
Yeah.
And so to sit at the table in the middle of all of it and just watch their reactions as they, even from the beginning, read the menu. It's like, this is cool. And then got their food and ate, and then got dessert and ate just all of those virgin reactions for it being their first time, and everybody getting so much joy out of it. I bet you Bill from Arsenal wishes he was there.
Yeah.
At Cornish Pasty last night. The league's fun. You're doing, you're scoring it like a tournament, like a big, long tournament, right? Like tournament points and objective points and victory points, and then having trying to avoid this two people play.
Yeah, they don't want
avoiding anyone playing the same person more than once. Yeah,
and then I decided that because 100% of the buy-in goes to, I'm just paying the store for gift certificates. So I think we're already over with the buy-in. We're already right about $1,100 to Games U just in the Escalation League that I've got to track
in total sales.
Yeah, because I haven't put the latest round of receipts in and the buy-ins, so I think we're close to that. I know we broke or right about 1,000, so that's kind of cool. And what I did,
it's basically one raffle ticket for every $20 you spend at the store.
Yeah, but I'm also going to do for the placing, instead of going first place gets the big prize, second place gets the second prize, because maybe the first place person doesn't need extra models. So what I'm going to do is for your $10 buy-in, it's one raffle ticket, and at the end, I'm going to raffle off the 3 gift certificates.
Nice.
So maybe do something special for the winner, like maybe give them a model, like grab a model or a box that I have at the house. But I'd rather or maybe make a trophy. I was thinking that, and then I would rather raffle off the gift certificates because it encourages people to keep playing and be enthusiastic. Because you could come in last place and get the highest gift certificate, and I kind of like that. Save the winning stuff for the tournaments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna run a tournament a couple weeks after this, so I'd rather just raffle them off, so everybody has the same exact fair chance.
Cool.
Of winning.
Neato. All right, so yeah, that's the Escalation League that keeps running down at Games U in Gilbert, Arizona. So now let's talk about June and what new for Infinity is coming out next month.
It was not an accident. It's a human imposter in the... No, say again. Say again. Is Boston incursion imminent? Please confirm.
Incoming data from Bostria.
Infinity Intel.
So, June releases. Super stoked to get to read this to you guys. We are going to start off huge in June with, for me at least, the long-awaited brand new rendition of the Caledonian Highlander starter pack. If you paid attention to any of the streams from the conventions, you saw some renders that were coming out for this.
I did. I was there.
Yeah, I was totally kind of jumping up for joy as like a little kid. 2 brand new volunteers with rifles. You have a volunteer paramedic, a brand new Mormare with T2 rifle, a brand new Highlander Gray with T2 rifle, and a new Wolver with T2 rifle. There's a theme here with T2.
It's a lot of T2 in that starter.
And the cool thing is, I didn't know if you guys knew this. If you go to the download section at Corvus Belli's website,
InfinityTheGame.com.
InfinityTheGame.com. You said it way better than me. Anyways,
So good.
you go to the download section. You could actually download wallpapers that are calendars for the months. And I've been doing this on my computer. And when Tom handed me these, I was like, hey, Tom, look what the May calendar is. It's Caledonia. It's the whole background is and it is shantier than I thought it would be. It is.
And then I said, I'm not surprised.
Oh, man. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out on their website because it's really cool to change every month, and you get a new theme. But heck yeah, stoked for that.
So yeah.
I give it a 5.
Kip's original army, the Caledonia Highlanders.
I give it a T5.
Jeez. And then also coming out in June, also coming out in Infinity, also coming out in June, is the Bagmari HMG blister. So you can bulk out your Bagmari to a 5-man team, and all of those of you who just converted yours, thank you. So that gave us the sculpt. Yeah.
Nice.
Bagmari HMG, again, you've probably seen the render from the Rumble on Route 66 seminar photos.
And I know this one is been awaited by most of the Hakazan players that I know, and that's the Assassin AR with viral pistols.
So good.
Yes, that's a really, really good one.
And then for Aleph, for Vanilla Aloe.
Vanilla.
It's the brand new hacker model that they showed off in those seminars. The Danavas, Danaves.
I was gonna say Danaves.
I'm gonna go with Danavas.
Danavas sounds correct.
Danavas.
You know that whole little chant that's like one of us here.
Danavas. The Danavas hacker and she is packed with the Carcata remote ancillary unit. The Carcata is the remote presence pilot thing that pops out of the Marut.
I kind of want to see what this looks like because, like, when they did the crab bot, it's like the shoulder piece. Like, do you
Right,
think,
but when you actually get it, it's way bigger than an actual squallow shoulder.
do you think like the Marut is just gonna be the skull cap and it's gonna pop off with like the two huge ass bunny ears, like with little legs?
I just hope it's one bunny ear with legs.
There you go. Yeah. Looking like one of the leaf bugs.
Yeah.
That's funny. I can't wait to see what they actually do for that.
So it seems like a weird pairing,
Yeah,
but like, what else are you going to put with the Carcata?
it's true.
And they're trying to put out less blisters, not more, I guess. I don't know. That's all I can think of as for a reason. But yeah, Danavas hacker and Carcata remote ancillary unit.
This one I'm really stoked. Because I just like the way the boxes look.
Oh, well, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
There ends the new releases.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
As far as new models go.
Yes.
The following new releases are either repackagings.
Yes. Or Army Box. In this case, this is an Army Box. So they're going to have a new Army Box coming out. I like the way they've presented them. I think it's really good for new players coming in to see these on the shelf. Each one has been more attractive than the next. So with the Steel Phalanx 300-point Army Box that's going to be on the shelf, those are some of my favorite models just aesthetically. Like, I had the models before they were even a thing in Campaign Paradiso. So I think this is going to be super huge, them doing this. Because people walking by are going to be like, what is that? I mean, so in this box, like, you're going to look, it's going to be nice and shiny, Steel Phalanx, all these really cool, super...
Steel Phalanx was Human Sphere.
You're right.
Toha came out in...
I was thinking, yeah, Toha. Human Sphere.
Sorry, I was so confused. All right, anyway. Said the wrong thing.
Yeah, so you have the Agima Marksman Sniper. Phoenix will be a part of this. Ajax. You'll have the Myrmidon with Spitfire. Myrmidon Officer with Boarding Shotgun. 4 Myrmidons. And Penicillea in the 300 Army Box.
And it's that Myrmidon box. So you got the chain rifle, you got the sword guy, you got the rifle guy.
But I love that box.
Yeah, I know.
And honestly, like, if you walk by and see that, you're like, what is this big dude with an axe? I mean, a hammer. And this girl on a bike. And all these really cool ninja-looking guys with old-school Greek weapons. So I think this is a really cool Army Box, especially for newer players coming in and just kind of looking at the shelf. I think it's going to be super popular.
And then we have a repacked blister. And so now, like, the ones that get repacked get canceled, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to be able to buy them separately anymore. They're going to repack the Ninja Multi-Sniper and the Ninja Hacker into a single blister. And they're also going to repack
the Zeros with the combi rifle and the hacker.
Yep. So
which, that's cool. Like, the Zeros, I like that repack though.
Down from 2 blisters to 1 to try and lower the number of SKUs.
I ain't gonna lie though, I'm glad that I just picked up the Ninja Hacker in the single blister because I don't need the multi-sniper with the way I wanted to run them. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But the Zeros I really like. The double Zeros, if you're just starting an army, that's huge because those are great specialists for nomads.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for the June releases for Infinity. They come out on June 23rd is their official release date. And we should start seeing painted pictures for those guys cropping up one at a time from now till then. So
stoked to see how Angel paints those Caledonias. I just said Caledonias, like they're a thing. Those Caledonias.
All right, well, let's Cinco de Mayo, and it's time for Más Cerveza. And then we will dive into, we've got a couple emails for the Infinity Archive.
Infinity Archives. Would you like to know more?
So Adam writes into us, and this one's a little bit long, but it is an almost Professor Willett level of discourse here. So
Okay.
the title of the email is Abraham Lincoln Character for U.S. ARF.
Oh, my.
Hi, Tom and Kip. Big fan of the show, and I can't thank you guys enough for everything you do for the global community. I'll try, and fail, to keep this short, as I just wanted to mention some things you missed about your 16th and coolest president. Canadian here. The author is Canadian. When discussing a potential character. Obviously, he was an impressive and skilled orator and diplomat. I agree with your idea for strategos, inspiring leadership, or another rule that could represent this. But there were some things in your previous rundown I feel you missed. You discussed him not being very combat capable, being mostly trained as a lawyer, but there were other aspects of his life that would make him a truly fearful combatant, especially after Aleph gets its hands on his recreation. First, Lincoln served as a militia commander in the Black Hawk War, so he's no stranger to combat. But the really interesting stuff is about him physically. It's long been suspected Lincoln had Marfan syndrome due to his height and the length of his limbs and fingers. Given his size and the hard work he endured as a lumberjack, there are many stories telling about how extraordinarily strong he was. And I'm assuming he's including Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter in this.
Yeah.
Because that was a story about how extraordinarily strong he was. Apparently, he would often carry 1,000-pound crates of stones all over his hometown. Now, if that seems outrageous, not every historian agrees with that number. Some estimate they weighed 1,200 pounds or more. There are also 2 reported instances of him picking up a man by the neck and flinging him aside with one hand, one of which was during his very first speech while running for the New Salem Assembly, when a fight broke out. He stopped mid-speech, pushed his way through the crowd, grabbed the anti-Lincoln man by the throat, threw him 12 feet, then returned to the podium and finished his speech.
Nice.
One of Lincoln's favorite pastimes in his youth was wrestling, and as far as I can tell, he was undefeated. His favorite method for winning was to simply grab his opponents, pick them up over his head, and shake them like a baby until they gave up.
That sounds like a cartoon.
So what could this mean for Infinity? I'd say making him fearsome in close combat with a huge physique is a given. Perhaps CC 20 plus, physique 14 to 16 with a T2 close combat weapon, modeled as an axe, obviously. Definitely able to hold his own for shooting, but nothing crazy. Maybe a shotgun, something reminiscent of 19th century firearms. 6'4" movement to represent his tall and quick frame. Maybe V-dogged? He survived for over 9 hours after his assassination attempt, which was a gunshot to the head.
True.
Now we're talking. He's a lieutenant with some extra skills to help, as well as someone you definitely want to spend that extra order on, and any opponent would be terrified to have to go up against him. Anyway, please let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this. And if any of your other listeners are more knowledgeable about American history than this Canadian, I hope they can write in to correct me. Regards, Adam Heisey.
Thanks, Adam. That was actually really cool. And coming from a Canadian as well, I feel kind of dumb from not knowing that much about one of my own presidents.
Just carrying around 1,200 pounds of stone. Those Canadians will bleed anything.
Yeah. All right. So Joshua Hill writes in.
That was actually that was very, very cool, and we really appreciate it. And that would be a terrifying character for sure.
Oh no, total of his assessment like that. I didn't know any of that, and that sounds amazing. Just gonna throw this guy. The shaking people like a baby thing was hilarious. That was my favorite part. So Joshua Hill,
Más cerveza.
yes, writes in, and he says, people play games for many different reasons: the rules, the aesthetics, or the story. For most people, it's a mix of the 3, but for some people, it's only one. For him, Josh, He said he needs all of them, and I agree, to start playing a game. He says I came for the rules and the aesthetic, but I stayed for the lore. That's actually really cool. We need a quote. Joshua Hill, everybody. I came here for the rules and the aesthetic, but I stayed for the lore. Joshua Hill, May 5th. Actually, this was April 8th, 2017.
Yeah.
It says, the more you delve into the background of Infinity, the more you realize how deep and profound it is. Some war games are just kill, kill, and here's some juvenile reasons why. In Infinity, there's very little outright open warfare. The games we play are special operations worthy of a small blurb in your news feed at most, if they were even known about at all. He says, to me, this screams future warfare, high-tech and clandestine. Most people that are into the fluff, aka lore, think that Pano is vanilla and boring. But he says, this is far from the truth. Pano appears to be the quote-unquote good guy, professional and boring, but they're in fact a very nuanced and fall into the perfect balance of gray, which if you read the new manga, this actually plays right into your assessment, Josh. He says, not totally good, not totally bad. They have the biggest standing army in the human sphere, but also have the Hexadron. Yeah, close, but yeah, but they also have the Hexadron again. Go check out the Outrage manga. Perhaps the greatest center of espionage and black ops humanity has ever known. Rivaled by the Black Hand. He said, I studied creative writing for a year under Orson Scott Card. While I'm nowhere near as good as him, some might say I'm not good at all, I do believe I can write an interesting bit of fan fiction. So I chose to write a story about Pano. I chose to write about the gray areas of the hyperpower. And what better place to start than a sinister Hexa operative leading a team of highly skilled and experienced operatives on secret missions for her own highly questionable purposes. He says, I think I wrote an entertaining story, and anyone interested on the background of Infinity should give it a go. I have it available in 3 different formats, PDF, Word, and ebook, on WGC Infinity in the files section, as well as on WordPress page. He does give a link that we will throw in the show notes. It is daughtersofkali.wordpress.com. He says, sorry for the long email, but I love your show, and I hope you can make it out to the Salt Lake Showdown in June, where I can meet you guys, and keep up the great work. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to that one. June's going to be rough for me. I would really love to. But yeah, definitely we'll have to throw these links up. So anybody want to...
Yeah. I will not be at the Salt Lake Showdown because I will be seeing Queen on the 23rd.
What?
So...
It's the 23rd, the Salt Lake is?
23rd, 24th. You just read it. Didn't you just read it?
I didn't see the actual dates.
Okay.
No, they're not on here.
So, yeah, anyway, I'm going to see Queen that weekend. And so I'm not going to the Salt Lake Showdown.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not making promises yet. It's quite a ways away if it's the 23rd, though.
But, yeah, so I'll check out, I'm going to check out the story. We'll put a link to the show notes so everybody can find it. If they're into a bit of fanfic, you can check out Josh's story. But right now, we have a listener-submitted MayaCast libation.
Heartbeat, funk, the lost and burst your filthy mug. If you draw one more shot, libations for everybody.
So Mr. Wade Coldpits writes in, and he has Go-Go Marlene's drink of choice. And today that is I'm going to call it the glass of Go-Go Mar milk. But he has it's a white chocolate shake. And it literally looks like a glass of milk. So what you're going to do, you need to fill a shaker half full of ice. You add 1 shot of vodka, 1 shot of white creamed cocoa. If no white, then any will do. We have Godiva white. Then you shake. He says leave it to chill if you're using a tin shaker. Shaking it will chill the absolute F out of it till your hands actually freeze to the side. When it is cold, strain into a martini glass, making sure you only get the ice crystals. And then it says enjoy. So I haven't tried it yet. And here it goes on air as the dogs go out to fight whatever.
I wonder if it's picking up Vino's barking outside. He's very distressed about something. So it's it's like a white chocolate martini.
Yeah, it's it's smoother than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. But it tastes like sweet vanilla, like sweet cream.
The cacao probably mellows it out. Alternatives, I'd probably double the amount, right? Because it's barely a third of a martini glass. Although I do have big martini glasses.
You do have big. So do 2 shots of each.
And I might do vanilla vodka.
Ooh.
Instead of regular vodka, but it's a fine little white chocolate martini.
Yeah, for it being nothing but alcohol.
Swirlsham. Cinco de Mayo. We will swirl some chocolate syrup around the inside of a martini glass.
And then
pour this in because it's white. It's white. It looks like a glass of milk.
It does look like a glass of milk. That's what I said. Go my milk.
So you could, if you swirl some chocolate syrup inside a martini glass, you get those rings of chocolate syrup, and then pour the white liquid in. It would be very pretty.
It is not hard to drink.
I'm going to call it
very good.
Since he said it's Go-Go Marlene's go-to beverage, and then said white chocolate martini, I'm gonna when I put the recipe in the show notes, I'm gonna call it the Go-Go Martini.
There you go. Nice, I like it. That works.
All right, so now we've got some questions about rules and army lists and gaming etiquette and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's get right into the war room.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles.
Very heavy resistance, sir.
Yes. But why are they using such primitive weapons?
Now entering the war room.
Michael writes in and says, hello, Tom and Kip. I wanted to let you know that I loved your Akon Shock Army podcast. The week before a local tourney, I was listening to your lists on a budget. Normally, I play Morats, but it's Lent, so I went with a Pano faction. I gave up the Morats for Lent. Having a Dragao and the Acontecimento Shock Army starter box needing assembled, what better time than the night before? I mean, my lists were already made for me, so I needed something to do the night before. I must say I really enjoyed those lists in the tourney. I will say, Tom, your list in Highly Classified actually worked very well if it wasn't for a bad couple of dice rolls trying to data scan. Yeah, I get you every time. Mm-hmm. My opponent had McMurrah in his Nomad army. I've never played against him and only heard terrible things if you go against him. The Dragois, on the other hand, said, stand back, I got this. McMurrow went unconscious and his paramedic finished him off for me. Happens every time. I would, Tom, definitely change the Bagmari sniper to an HMG and the Naga to a killer hacker. So my question is, you guys have time and still have your other lists you concocted. Yeah, the Bagmari was a sniper because that's what comes in the box.
Yeah.
So anyway, so my question for you is, if you have the time and still have your other lists you concocted, I would love to see what you came up with. Because remember I said I came up with all these lists?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
I'm intrigued in Kip's other list with the same purchases, and Tom all are 5 of your other lists. I think the R is just like a
typo.
Yeah. And Tom, all 5 of your other lists. Oh, there we go. But really, the higher order lists coming from Morats, I usually only have 10 orders, since those lists fit me very well. But a few more orders would be nice. Thanks for all your work, Michael Kidwell. P.S. If you're coming to Gen Con this year, we need to have a beer or two. Well, we're both going to be there, so you're on, sir. Speaking of beers, I should have some more Go-Go Martini.
I finished mine already, and I'm worried it's going to ruin my...
Did you chug it like a shot?
Yeah, because you put that chocolate syrup in there, and I was like, sweet, it's like milk oysters. Yeah, because I had this like
How
little...
about we never say the phrase milk oysters ever again? Renaming the show Cinco de MayoCast? No. Milk oysters. Yeah, writing that down.
No, it's because like you threw the chocolate syrup in there, so I had like this chunk of chocolate that was like floating in the middle, and that's all I could think of was like if you go to eat an oyster, like you have that little little meat in the middle. So I just went down the hatch.
All right, so I did still have some of those lists printed out, and I don't want to go through all of them, but you mentioned high order lists. Well, I did a 16 order list for the Shock Army of Acontecimiento, and hopefully as I go through the list, I'll remember why I put the things in that I did. We've got an Acontecimiento regular with Spitfire, and a regular paramedic, and another regular paramedic, and then a regular lieutenant, and a regular with combi rifle. So that's clearly a 5-man, and another regular with combi rifle. So that's clearly a 5-man link with an extra regular, where you can play high lieutenant because you have 3 combi rifle regulars. One of them is a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of the ones in the link. Maybe it's one of the ones not linked. You can re-up the link to 5 if one goes down because you have the extra guy. Then, also in Group 1, which is 8 regular orders, you have the Mule Bot Hacker. So that's the Evo hacking baggage bot. And a Bulleteer Arm Bot. ODD, Spitfire, really good. If you've ever played against him, you're like, yeah, screw that guy.
Oh, yeah.
So the Mulebot Hacker can put support wear on the Bulleteer, and the Fire team makes that a very order-efficient combat group of 8 orders. Then we get to Group 2. This is 7 regular orders and 1 irregular order. We start with a Bulleteer Armbot with ODD and Spitfire. And if you've ever played these guys, you're like, yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah.
So we have a second Bulleteer to start off Group 2. Then we have a Naga. Let's see. Forward Observer. Boom. So it's a specialist. Good. Did the right thing. Nagas have mines. They are dogged. Multi-terrain, infiltrators, camouflage, all the good stuff. So we have 1 Naga Forward Observer. We have 1 Naga Hacker, and it's the Killer Hacker. Right? And then we have what looks to be a Bagmari Harry's team. I don't see the guy with the Harry's ability. Can they form? Oh, yeah, there he is.
23 points.
Bagmari, Combi Rifle Light Shotgun, Fire Team Harry's, 23 points, 0.5 SWC. So, Bagmari, the Multi-Spectral Visor level 1. Mm-hmm. We've got the Harry's leader. We have another guy with combi rifle, light shotgun, and an assault hacking device, so they can go get objectives, or take over tags or whatever. And then you've got the third Bagmari has an HMG.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, where's that HMG coming in?
So now you've got 2 link teams, one with a Spitfire, one with an HMG, 2 Bulleteers to go get work done. And there are so many models. Oh, there's a War Corps in this group. That's that irregular order, right? So they're looking at these 6 regular orders plus an irregular, and then there's 8 regulars in the other group. They're like, that's got to be everything. There's so many dudes on the table. So they don't expect your Akal Commando with boarding shotgun, who's part of the second group, and off the table. And so there's 16 orders, split pretty evenly.
And he's coming in on that Evo because their physique sucks.
Well, yeah, it's an 11, but it'll be 14 because you got the Mule Bot on the table.
Yeah.
Just make sure you deploy it well and hidden.
Yeah, not like me this last week, like an idiot.
So don't make a mistake. Lewis will take advantage. Mm-hmm. So there's a list with a lot of orders that has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 specialists, an 80 combat jump surprise, a burst 5 HMG, and a burst 5 Spitfire.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. How many of the Bulleteers have Spitfires?
Both of them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's 300 points on the nose. It's 6 SWC. Good times. Fun times.
Yeah, and those can go suppressive too, right?
Yeah, Spitfires have suppression.
Yeah, that's nasty. You have both those bulleteers, because you can use a command token to pop those bulleteers and suppression.
If you move the combat groups around, for sure. Right now they're in separate combat
they're in
groups.
separates.
Yep.
It don't matter. You can use their own. But yeah, that's nasty. And then you have the other two fire team, Spitfire and HMG. That's kind of scary, man.
So yeah, that's a lot of Pano dudes.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's one with only 14 orders. It's a group of 10 and a group of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Group of 10 has the Bagmari 5-man link with Lieutenant Rao as your, lieutenant. But he's in the link.
Stefan.
Whip 14 for Pano to make an initiative roll. That's not terrible. Paramedic, Bagmari. The boarding shotgun D charges, Bagmari. Number 2, right? Then you've got the HMG guy, and then another paramedic. So 2 specialists in there. The Rao with his assault pistol in a 5-man link at ballistic skill 12. Not terrible.
Yeah, it's not terrible at all.
And all these guys have MSV 1. So good, solid fire team there. Have that HMG get work done, and so you're up nice and close. Then your 2 Nagas again, Forward Observer and Killer Hacker. Camo Infiltrators. Be on objectives from the jump. A regular with Mine Layer. Okay. And then 2 Bulleteers, both with Spitfires.
Imagine that.
Always
take 2 Bulleteers.
The second group is a Sapper regular with multi-sniper. And so he's a cool little ARO piece. You know, he's useful to get cover on, a table where you might not have great positions.
Mm-hmm.
A Pathfinder drone bot who is the Forward Observer Toolbox bot, the 16-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Mule bot hacker who can buff your Bulleteers to go get things done. And then a War Core, of course.
And that the Mule bot is the Evo hacker, right?
Yep.
So if you don't get first turn, your Bulleteers are repeaters, right?
They are.
So you can overclock those, give them burst 2 and arrow.
You could indeed. So there's 14 orders without, stripping everybody down to, like that other list had 6 regulars in it, which are the cheapest line troops. This one only has the 2 regulars, the sniper and the mine layer guy. The useful thing about the mine layer guy is he's the sensor dude.
Yeah, that's so overlooked that you can actually take that on just a regular guy. What's his points to on that?
14. Half an SWC. It's where you usually run into problems.
Oh, that's true with Acon. They just have random 0.5s everywhere. I'll take that, though. Mine layer and then the sensor. Like, that can come in really handy. But those are nasty, Tom. I totally forgot that Bulleteers were also repeaters.
Yeah, we did a tag mission tournament.
I didn't get to go to that one. I was very upset.
A couple weeks ago, and took a list. Took 2 lists, but the list for what's the one where you got to have the tags on the objective to get the show of force? Yeah, show of force. So for Show of Force and Deadly Dance, which are your tags score extra OP, I took a list with 2 Teak Balongs.
Oh, nice.
And that was really fun. And then the other list had just a Dragao.
Dragoi.
A Dragois.
Dragoi. It's so funny. Oh, man.
The 2 Teak Balong list was super fun.
I bet.
I played Show of Force against Zach. And I ended my turn 3 with those 2 Teak Balongs, both touching that center objective, sort of vectored out, one to the left, one to the right, and overlapping. So they were covering the entire table with fields of fire. And, they were both in suppression fire.
Oh, and they have mimetism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was after, Ramboing 1 Teak Balong up to go kill his tags in the back. because he had just had geckos. And yeah, that was super fun. But yeah, lists for days.
Scary is.
Acon's a lot of fun.
So we have Nick writes in MayaCast feedback. He says, "Hello guys, I am new to both your channel on the MayaNet and Infinity in general. I have to say Infinity is the best war game I have ever played."
You are right.
Yes, you are. That's why I emphasize that. I would agree. It pretty much killed everything else for me. And I have to say that I have tried a lot of them. Again, between Tom and I, there's a lot of years of wargaming. And it is by far my favorite. I agree. It just fits me personally the way I like to play. I just started gathering Ariadna. Way to go. Look, this is like, Nick is like me. Is this my friend Nick from Arizona? I mean, come on. He's talking like me.
No,
Ariadna.
He would never play miniatures.
Yeah, I know. And I would like to, like you to help me, if possible, by answering a few questions. So in Vanilla Ariadna, that's what he wants to play. He says, my lists usually round about 10 to 12 orders with 2 to 4 specialists. So before we go any further, if you're playing Vanilla Ariadna, I got to see what else he has to say, but 10 to 12 order with 2 to 4 specialists, Nick, we got to help you out, man. Got to help you out. You should have at least 6.
Sounds like maybe he's trying to take all of the big toys at the same time.
That's true. Oh, here he goes. A lot of heavy weapons and maybe like 2 to 4 camo tokens. So yes, you're right. A lot of big toys. So it says, although my results from recent games are not bad, I would like to know what I should look for in my lists. Specialists, firepower, number of orders, toughness, not the best in Ariadna if I am correct. He says, because I keep making lists, and to be honest, I'm not sure I'm looking at the game correctly. So we're going to have to address that. And then he says, lastly, Ariadna lacks completely MSV2, of course. They're the low-tech faction. So how big of a disadvantage do you think this is, and how can I counter my opponent's smoke tactics? Sorry for the length of the email. It was not long at all. You're good. Hope to hear from you. Best regards, Nick. So let's start with the second question before we get into the actual army list. The lack of MSV2. So I've played Ariadna quite a bit, and I mean, smoke hurts, but MSV2 is like, if you're beginning the game, it's kind of scary because you're like, there's ODD out there and there's the smoke and I can't see through it. And if you're playing vanilla, if you don't have access to fire teams, yeah, smoke can be bad because you can't shoot back at normal. But what you do have access to is a lot of flamethrowers that can start very close. So if you're playing somebody with like TO camo or ODD, you can shoot those guys and burn that off. With the smoke, it can be a little difficult, but you just have to, I would say, defensive. Like, set up defensively. Like, if you know if you're playing like Toha, you're gonna expect it. So kind of look where they're going to use it and try to counter it in defense. There's really not a good answer of like what you can do against somebody like rolling up on you in smoke, other than deploying in a manner to where you can like help each other out. War driver hackers with 6th Sense level 2 could help out. So if they roll up on you with an 8, you can react to them. The chasseurs have 6th Sense level 1, so if somebody's trying to smoke and get close to you, you can react within your 8 inches right back at them, and it doesn't hurt you. So it's little things like that you're going to have to kind of utilize. But overall, like, just like people smoking them out, like if they're using that many orders to smoke out, you're gonna out-order them anyway. So it's really hard for me to think about.
If you can set up multiple vectors that so you start out, you're like directly in front of them, but if you can leverage your angles with your infiltrators to get multiple points of view, now maybe one smoke grenade doesn't block everything unless he throws it on himself, and once he throws it on himself, he's not throwing that second smoke grenade.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was saying, like the defensive posturing.
And so you're facing nomads, and they're gonna drop smoke and then shoot you through it with an intruder, and you're at you're at -12. So what do you do?
I mean, if they do that and you're sitting there, like there's nothing you really can do.
It's an experience thing too, right? Yeah. Like that. There's a jaguar there, and there's a camo marker on that roof. So that's going to be the intruder. Don't put anything where that intruder can see.
Exact. That's what I mean, like the defensive posturing, and like that's a better way to put it. Right there is like kind of getting to know your opponent's armies, because that is a perfect example. You see a smoke thrower next to a camo token. Yeah, get out of that lane.
Right. And then on your active turn, you can discover and shoot. Unless they're prone, whatever. But
or antipode sensor. Those are always fun.
Yeah, and you've got a number of things with MSV1 to cut down the penalties as well. But yeah, not everybody can see through smoke, and those that can pay a whole lot of points to do it.
Yeah, I haven't really felt like a really bad, like inhibited by not being able to shoot through smoke, because they do have so many other things that are starting halfway up the board, camo with flamethrowers. Like there's ways around it. Yeah, if you're playing vanilla, the antipodes are amazing, especially if you're playing another camo unit with running up in camo, censoring people to pop them out, and then your long range guys gets their surprise shot on them.
Okay, but so I'm interested in this first part where he's only getting up to 10 or 12 orders.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a lot longer than the MSV2 talk.
He's going to take a lot of big guns, he says, right? So there are missions where killing more points than your opponent get you objective points. And so like firefight, decapitation, and then in like Annihilation and Biotech 4, you want to kill as much of the enemy as you can while keeping yourself
surviving,
alive.
Yeah.
And so for those missions, that's a fine approach. And it sounds like, so you probably sent this email in before we did that episode on how to approach list building.
Very true.
Which I think was 128.
Yeah, just
it's not your list,
ago.
It's your list.
3 weeks ago. Yeah.
So if you haven't checked that out, please check that out, because that may answer a lot of, or all, of that entire question. But if you know the missions you're playing, then you build the army list to that mission. And if the mission is does not award objective points for killing the enemy, then maybe leave some of those big guns at home. And because, I've seen it happen. The guy that brings all the big, scary, nasty guns and things, right? And the enemy just avoids him.
Yep.
And goes and does the objectives and wins the scenario. Or goes and does the objectives and then player A with all the big guns goes and then murders a bunch of his dudes, right? In turn, and so when he starts his next turn, his enemy's in retreat. And he plays his turn in retreat, he uses his command tokens to ignore it, gets some more objectives, the game ends, and the guy who didn't lose a model but killed 80% of his enemy's army is like, what do you mean I lost?
Yeah.
Well, you lost because you didn't do any of the objectives, and it says that the game ends at the end of a turn if you start in retreat, which you put me in because you just wanted to kill me a lot. So it's a really cool thing they do where they focus you on the objectives and completing the mission and not just on bloodlust and bloodthirstiness. Because remember, Black Ops, right? Special operations. You're sneaking into an area to, get the data files or whatever. Your troopers are not necessarily interested in direct confrontation with the enemy, right? And yes, of course, there's there's what do you call them? To the rule. Exceptions. There we go.
Exceptions, yes.
Wow. Más cerveza, Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
There are exceptions to the rule, of course, because that's whenever you say something like, they're not interested in killing the enemy. They're there to complete the mission. People would be like, oh yeah, well, what about this guy? Because he's a psychopath, and all else, they want to point out the one thing that that disproves you, and you're like, well, okay. So yes, of course, there's exceptions. Obsections? Why do I keep wanting to? That's not even a word, Kip. Yeah, so build a list to focus on the mission, and maybe all those guns are preventing you from getting enough midfield camo infiltrating specialists that will help you more efficiently and easily get the job done. But yeah, 10 to 12 orders is a very, very small list for Ariadna.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I don't play vanilla very often. Tom has played more than me, but if you're looking, especially the list, whatever missions you're going to be playing is going to dictate what you're going to be bringing. Yes, if you're going to bringing objective lists, don't bring your heavy guns. If you're playing a mission like Annihilation or I think even Decapitation does, like kill and then survive, you don't want to take big guns. You want to take cheap units that can do twice as much damage as they cost. And you have a lot of them. Honestly, I just threw 7 orders in that are half your armory. They're 160 points for 7 orders. All of them are camoed, all of them are infiltration, all of them are specialists. So if you're playing a specialist mission, you have 2 scouts, 2 foxtrots, two chasseurs, and an SAS. That's your availability of half your army, and that's insane. I mean, you have multi-terrain guys if you're playing rescue. The scouts have marksmanship level 1, so their weapons are shock. I believe their Ojotniks are they AP? The Ojotnik? Yeah, they're AP plus shock, and they have D charges, so you can do classifieds. Chasseurs are probably the best. They have 6th sense level 1. They're infiltrators. Your forward observers have rifles. They have light flamethrowers and mines, and they're forward observers. So all these guys can also flash pulse.
It's the perfect loadout for their ability. 6th sense level 1.
Oh yeah.
Where I can delay my arrow until you tell me the second half of your action.
Yeah, it's amazing. So within 8 inches.
Right. Yeah. So if you're going to. Right, because normally a normal model would have to make that choice. You come up, I'm going to shoot, or I'm going to dodge, or I'm going to flamethrower, or nanopulse, or whatever, right? Or I'm going to reset, or, you have all these choices to make, and you don't, whichever one you do, then the enemy can exploit that to his advantage, right? Oh, you're dodging? Well, then I'm going to shoot my gun because then it's a face-to-face roll instead of just using my template, which you can easily avoid. And so it's the perfect loadout because you've got the weapon to make a face-to-face roll, or you've got the direct template weapon if you don't. And so, yeah, Chasseurs is like a perfect little marriage of skills and equipment.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, even go down to this, just utilize your mission, utilize what they really have. As just a base, if you want to get really crazy on people, here's your fun stuff. You can rock for, again, about half your army to 147. So you're already at 6 orders, and you still have 150 points to build out the rest of your army, which you could easily get to 14 to 16 orders in Ariadna. You can start with a base of 2 foxtrots, 2 chasseurs, Van Zants, and a Spetsnaz with boarding shotgun with the parachutist. So you have Van Zant coming in wherever the hell he wants, and your Spetsnaz coming in on the other side. with mimetism, and then your foxtrots right up in people's business. Like there's you can easily get 8 more models in there if you build around that. Like throw 1 tank hunter in, but kind of look for those cheaper models that can do more damage.
But yeah, if you're going like 2 Spetsnaz, 2 tank hunters, 2 veteran Kazakhs,
yeah,
you're out of points, and you don't need all of that stuff. So interesting question for you to think about is when, let's say that's what you took. Did all 6 of those things that you paid so many points for, did they all do things during the battle? Did you spend orders on all of them? Did they all get to do something? Because that's one of the problems, right? That's why cheerleaders is not a 4-letter word. Well, besides the fact that it's way more than 4 letters, it's because if you take all these big expensive guys, not only are you low on orders, so you can't do a lot, but half of them might end up not doing anything the whole game. Right? Except the occasional ARO shot. And so something to think about is maybe have 2 instead of 6 big thugs. Maybe have 3 of your favorite pieces, and that way you get to spend your whole order pool, having them all do stuff instead of having half of them sit there idly doing nothing for most of the game, waiting for their opportunity. And you're going to have more orders because now you can take less expensive troops. Now you'll have more orders to help fuel those 3 cool guys that do cool stuff. But yeah, definitely listen to 128 because we just talked a whole lot about philosophies of list building and profiles and stuff. So check that out, and I think that would probably cover it. So that brings us to nope. That's the one you just read. Thanks.
Yeah,
for leaving it on. Thank you for leaving it on top, kid. Okay. Oh, here's the one where okay. Event etiquette and painting question. This comes to us from Light 'em Up, and it says, "Hey Tom and Kip, I'm new to the game of Infinity and played in my first tournament this past weekend at Adepticon 2017, in case this email sits for a while. I had a blast and everyone was really cool and actually did pretty well, even though I went 1-1-2 on Saturday's 300-point event. My first question, what is the Infinity etiquette when you think your opponent is either wrong, parentheses, lying or just honestly incorrect, and if he seems to be either slow playing you or just playing really slowly? I had one game this weekend where my opponent took legitimately 45 minutes for his half of turn 1.
Oh my goodness
and
gracious.
Another 30 or so for his turn 2, leaving me as the first player with little time, even though I played fast. We were unable to start the third round of the game because he would not have had time to get his turn in. In all my other games, my third turn is usually the money maker for me, even going from a major defeat to a major victory. Coming from War Machine mainly, I'm not used to players not being held to their own time." Then the second half of his email is for the master class portion of the show, and so we'll just deal with the first part. So, if somebody's wrong, right, I'll say something like, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Or, I think it works like this. Or, if we're, in our local group, it'll be, nah, dude.
Yeah. No, so I just did that to Lewis when we had 2 things. It was proximity weapons and camo, and then surprise shot with hackers. And I was like, my response was, Lewis, are you sure that's how it was? Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah. And I was like, well, we'll play it like that right now because I don't want to look it up. But I'm going to look that up when we're done just to make sure.
Yeah, so
and then we were done. We looked it up, and he was right.
That's one way. If you're and that was like Monday Night Escalation League.
Yeah.
They're at a tournament at Adepticon. You can say, bro, are you sure that's how that works? I thought it was this way. And if the guy's like, nah, then, hey, do you mind if we call a judge?
That's perfect. That right there would be perfect.
And then the judge can come over and he can, rule one way or the other. Or if you've got your iPad and, if you're using MayaNet, it links right to the wiki and bada bing, bada boom, you're at the rule in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Or if you've got the rules PDFs on your iPad and iBooks, right? Super easy to pull up and find the rule in question. But there's definitely nothing wrong with saying, hey, I don't think that's correct. From my point of view, the off-putting behavior is like when they're like, no, dude, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because then that elicits the response of, excuse me?
Yeah.
What did you just say to me? Right? Because it's very confrontational. It's very agitative. Whereas saying, you 100% sure on that, bro? Or, oh, I thought it worked this way. No, it works this way. Pretty sure it works this way. Do you mind if we call a judge? Or let's look it up real quick. And then you find out who's right and who's wrong. And then whoever's wrong just says, oh, wow, I'm sorry. Because nobody likes to be wrong.
No.
But as soon as you see that you're wrong, be like, oh, wow, yeah, sorry, totally didn't know that. Or totally read it the wrong way or whatever, and own up to it, apologize, get on with the game.
I always hate that too because because I have been wrong.
Oh yeah,
a lot. So, and I always feel bad, like, because then especially you're in a tournament, you're like, well, I just wasted time. So like honestly, like I would try to play faster my turn out of game etiquette. Like if I slowed it down that way, and that's my main thing. Like hopefully if you're in a tournament, especially Adepticon or Gen Con, and it's like a big time thing, I would much rather be like, hey, can we call a TO? And whatever he judges right then, that's how it is. Right or wrong, it's going to keep things moving. You can look it up afterwards. If it was a mistake, okay, you guys learned something. But a lot of times, if you're on a really big time crunch and you're spending all this time looking up rules,
don't spend a lot of time trying to convince the other person either, because if you both think you're right, you're both going to just keep arguing. So don't try and bring the other guy around to your way of thinking. Get to the source right away, because most things are just in the rules.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just because there's a bajillion rules, you confused with, okay, so if I hit, what happens if I hit ODD with fire? What happens if I hit camo with fire? Right, and all the things that are close but different, and so you mix them up in your head, and it's no big deal. Most of the things are super quick to answer in the rules. So instead of like trying to convince them to your way of thought, well, because this is, no, because and then like you paint the cinematic picture to back up your argument. No, if you're at a tournament, just be like, I think it works like this.
Yeah.
I think it works like this. Clearly we disagree. Let's get a judge's opinion. Or if the judge is occupied, let's look it up on the iPad quick.
Like super quick.
So that's that about the other person being wrong. You can, you don't have to say, dude, you're wrong.
No. Because
the worst part about that is when you're the one that's, like, you say that and then it turns out you're the one that's wrong. Now you look like an even bigger tool, right? But if you'd approach it in a way like, oh, I thought it worked this way. Are you sure?
That's like how we talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's how that works? Like that, that's the go-to. Are you sure?
So
I'm pretty sure. Okay, we're gonna play it like that. Well, in local, we'll play it like that. We'll look it up later. Major tournaments, it's different. Slow playing.
You can address the problem without belittling them, or starting a confrontation.
I know. I completely agree. I mean, and that's like a go-to in a lot of the guys we play with. Now on the slow playing side, I've actually done this. I mean, most people have cell phones, keep them handy. You know when your time is. Keep track of, goodness gracious, I've hit my stupid cord like 3 times a night. Keep track of your time. If you notice somebody's going pretty slow and you're like, yo, man, it's been 25 minutes. Like, I'll be like, I have no problem being like, hey, man, can you speed it up a little bit? Like, you're taking a little bit of long time. Like, we have X amount of time to do this. Like, can you speed it up? Like, honestly, call somebody out. I have no problem with calling people out, because if they're slow playing, they're the ones being, unless it's accidental and they're a new player, that's different, because they could be like overwhelmed with their own army trying to play in a big tournament. And we always say, hey, go to these because they're fun. They could have went and they're like, oh man, I'm a little overwhelmed. So that's different. But if it's literally like somebody just sitting there going, then just be like, bro, pick it up. Let's go. Like, come on. Like, 45 minutes is ridiculous. You're like, hey, we're both here to play. Mm-hmm. Don't take away my ability to play, because then you're a douchebag. So, like, I mean, that's a little blunt on my end. But if it's blatant, just like kind of like lollygagging, not having fun, not interacting with their opponent, just like totally stuck in their own little world. It's been like 45 minutes for half of turn one. Like, maybe just like remind them nicely, like, hey man, we need to speed this up. Like, we only have an hour and a half. Like, we gotta like get through so that we can get through all of our turns.
And so if it's honest slow playing, it comes from the analysis paralysis, right?
Yes. Yes.
They're going through all of their options and they're trying to pick the best one every time. And I've had to say to people before, like, hey man, time, I got to get my turns in too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's been 5 minutes on this one decision.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Like, you kind of you have to just say it. You could call people out in a nice way. You can do it in a nice way. Like you said, hey, you got to get my turn in too.
Yep. We got to watch the clock, man. We got to hurry up and get this done. And yeah, I don't think I've ever been intentionally slow played. I've just had the people that think about every decision way too long. So when I'm playing, I try to be spending my orders and going. And if I'm thinking about something, if it's not going to give away like a plan that I have, I will talk out loud so they know what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Right. And it'll be like, oh, so if,
I might have picked that up from you.
So
I noticed doing that sometimes.
But it's the 7 minutes of stone silence as they have their arms crossed, their chin in their hand as they stare brow furrowed at the whole table. Come on, do something, spend an order. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep spending orders and going as fast as possible, and not, I'm not thinking about, not taking the time to think about this is going to lead to this, is going to lead to this, is going to lead to this. Mm-hmm. If I can see that in a right away, like some people can, yeah, great, they're going to be very good. But if I'm not going to spend 15 minutes to unlock all of the secrets of the table and my next 3 turns to spend this one order. Go into the game, have an idea of what is the plan for those models? Mm-hmm. How are they going to get there? What are they going to accomplish?
Exactly.
But yeah, just say to your opponent, we really need to move faster. Because how did it even stretch to 45 minutes? Now,
that's mind-boggling. Because honestly, so if I'm playing you, Tom, while you're moving, I'm already planning out what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. I'm already planning out what I'm going to do.
And if you're coming from a turn-based game where when it's not your turn, you have a lot of time off.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You may not be accustomed to the way Infinity is constantly engaging.
That's the best thing about it too. And yeah, honestly, when you're on that's what your reactive turn is. It's not just to ARO somebody or try to kill them. It's you're reacting to their movement. Oh, you're moving here. Well, how am I going to counter this? What can I do? And you can already see what they're going to do. And you're like, oh man, there's a good chance I'm going to lose those 2 guys. How am I going to make up to that? Mm-hmm. What do I have in my arsenal?
Got to think ahead.
Yeah, and that's the whole, you're always engaged. You're never really sitting back. If you're sitting back, then yeah, you are going to slow play because you haven't been paying attention to half of the game, which is reacting to your opponent. And that doesn't just mean shooting.
And as I face the furrowed brow, chin holding thinker, You know,
is that like the new instead of neckbeard? Like, I don't like to use that term a lot, but that's a term that's thrown out in our community. Is that the what is it? The
furrow-browed, chin-holding thinker. If I'm facing him, if more than a minute elapses without anything happening, I'm like, okay, man, what's going on? What are we doing?
Could I be the furrow-browed, hands on the hips thinker? Because that's me.
Well, first you'd have to think. Hey-o.
I just love the chin-holding thinker, and I'm like, damn. When I play, my hands are usually on my hips, or flipping my cap from forward to backwards, back forth, over and over and over.
All right.
That's funny.
We got an email here from the guy I played first round in the Rumble on Route 66.
Uh-oh.
So it's Tony Fern.
Tony, that doesn't say Fern. It says Cho.
It's probably Coey.
Damn it. All right.
Just read the thing, Kip.
So, Tony Coey?
I tried to save you from that by saying it's Tony Fern.
I like Tony Coey.
No, I want to screw something up.
I like Tony Coey. Tony Coey. Tony Coey writes in.
Choa.
And he says, hello, Tom and Kip.
Hello, Tony.
Hello, Tony Coey.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
He was a guy at the Rumble who was bald and kind of had facial hair.
Oh, so it's you guys all had
he's a hollow
send in
echo.
headshots, yeah. He says, first, I would like to say congratulations to Kip on taking that big plunge called marriage. Tony, I thank you for that, and I hope that you know that when the hole with your name was totally a joke, did not want to offend. I really do appreciate that. It's been a journey.
I think Tony is pretty hard to offend.
Okay, good, because that was totally a joke. And on all serious notes, I really appreciate that, man. It's been a journey. I feel pretty blessed to have the person in my life that I do. She built her first Infinity model last week. Sujan.
The Sujan.
She actually wants it. She says hers because she likes Transformers. I don't know if she'll ever play, but at least I got her building stuff. So he said get as much of your gaming in now, because once there are spawnlings, your free time is over. We are already planning around this as well. Hopefully we don't have any kids until next year. We will start trying. But we have already had talks of, when my schedule time is, where my hobby room is, so that everybody has their space. I'm so worried about that. You're totally freaking correct, and I know no amount of planning will ever make it perfect. So he says, so not that you two are basking in your post-bliss glow. One from the honeymoon, the other from Rumble / Adepticon. So let us get down to business, because both of us were in our glows, Tom. You asked why I would take an Urgan over a Katyusha and Minesweeper. Well, I have a tendency to use the Urgan in defense positions. And there's a lot of people that ask me about this, by the way. So if you're out there, listen. Something that the range and rate of fire would be useful. And if I use a war driver to put marksman level 2 on it, and with the range, hitting on a 13, it's pretty good. He says, or I would use indirect fire as if I can get a model targeted. So, doing the speculative with the AP. It says the AP shock gets rid of most models, and those who are armored, the AP template usually gives them at least 1 wound. It says, Tom, I almost killed all of your dogs with the Uragan that was protecting Colonel Veronin. At least my dogs got their revenge against your Colonel Veronin. Did this happen?
Yeah, we already told the story when I did the Adepticon. Yeah.
So it says, in a couple of different games at Rumble, the Urgon was able to do things that the Katyusha wouldn't have been able to do. For example, how am I going to say anything bad about Matt Chafee? Killing Matt Chafee's Knight of Montesa in indirect fire, so like they were going at it. Or taking out a Sujan on Oren's corridor table. I do not agree that Uragan killed a Susan. I want to see evidence, Tony. I need to see clear scientific evidence that
he said it happened, and so I believe that it happened. It's just hella not likely.
Right? That Sujan was not in suppressive Ireland. Anyway, it does have its limitations, of course. You pointed out that for scoring points, it has less than the Katyusha and Minesweeper combined for more total points. And yes, it's only BS10, but for some reason, you can get your enemy model targeted and get within the 18 to 16 range. Then you will be hitting on 19s, so don't scoff. It can happen. You're right, it can. If you're playing your table angles correctly, you can totally do that. Considering that you only get one shot at guided, and if they have a hacker, U-turn is readily available. On top of that, if you have the face-to-face roll against active models, as this can be difficult, and get your people perished. So it's a whole lot of playing your angles, getting your range bands right, trying to get marksman on your doodad without any repeaters. But it is, I mean, I've never thought of using it this way.
What way?
The way that Tony's talking about, like using the war driver, putting marksman on it, getting it within its range, using the speculative fire with the targeted. Because you can target the same way with the Katyusha and just fire guided across the whole table. So, but the total reaction I could see with marksman. Kudos. So he says, now on to one more serious question. The etymology of the dog-face language. Example. If a Kazakh dog-face says, Blargavoich, it means, I will eat your face with fava beans and a nice Chianti. So, if you're ever in a bar and somebody goes, Blargavoich, be like, okay. I do not see any beans or Chianti in the vicinity, so I will leave before you find some. To a Cameroonian, Blargish or Bragish, I can't even do it. It means, do it, Bargish. Bargish. That was closer. Okay. It means, I shall put your intestines through your left nostril in front of all of your kin so that they will fear me for all eternity.
I think the blarg portion of each of these words is like,
blah! Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Oh, man. All right. So we had a Kazakh dog face. We had a Cameroonian. Now down to a devil dog. This is the United States Marine devil dog. When he goes, rah, he's just like, dude. Oh, that's hilarious. Actually, I think that you mistranslated that. The blah, what you think means dude, means that's just like your opinion, man. Or you could translate it into the old English of white Russian, please. So that one could be interpreted however you want. And the rare Merovingian dog face. I like that. Pretty much every dog warrior means we surrender. Ooh, yeah. I didn't say it. I did not say that. The one word that is common to all dog warriors and the antipode as well is the whimper. This loosely translates into, if you have kids in the car, please plug their ears now because I'm going to read this as literal, which loosely translates into, oh, shit, it's the Koreans' run. Okay. So keep up the great work, gentlemen. Thank you. Tony the Mongo Fern. Oh, he says the CHOE is his Korean family name.
Yeah.
Okay. That's hilarious. Thanks, Tony. That was kind of funny. I like the dog face language. That was fun to read. Although when I said the S-bomb, like, it was really hard to actually say it without doing the slip. Like, I wanted to immediately go to Shiza, yeah. I had to actually force that one out.
All right. Well, we have Yeah, we have 2 more emails to close out the show, and they are both going to, well, one we already started from Light 'em Up. We're going to finish with 2 for the MayaCast Masterclass.
Ladies and gentlemen, the MayaCast Masterclass.
So back to Donald, who wrote to us earlier about slow playing and what if somebody's wrong, right? Mm-hmm. He also had a second question, a painting question. He says, I play Ariadna Ranger Force and have a camo color scheme that is more quote-unquote realistic than sci-fi look, using muted colors, blacks, browns, and greens. I know I'm not a great painter, but I'm better than noob status. How can I improve to the point of competitive for painting awards with camo schemes instead of the highly flashy silvers and metallic that sci-fi theme armies can have? Sorry for the long email. Feel free to paraphrase. So how can I improve to the point of competitive for painting awards with camo schemes? So
Yeah, I'm sitting here with this look on my face with my eyes squinted and trying to understand what because to me you can do like an old school camo theme and it could actually look better than some of those like I'm just did a bunch of dots, you know what I mean?
So you may not be familiar, sir, with the Historical Miniature Painting Society. I think that's what it's called. HIMPS. But go do some looking up of historical miniature dioramas, historical miniature paint schemes, and you will see khakis and drabs that would bring a tear to Lewis's eye.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's going to be like the base.
Drabs and camos and muted tones that are painted to an absolutely expert level. The technical proficiency is not in the, what did you call them? Flashy silvers and metallics that sci-fi armies have. It's not in, it's all in the technique. And so, yeah, you can, and a trained judge, will recognize like, oh, this guy did some NMM chrome, non-metallic metal chrome, and, all right, it looks okay, but his blending's, pretty sketchy, and he went for the flash and the wow, but it's not, whereas, oh, look at this historical miniature, where every green and brown is blended perfectly, and there's great separation, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
no, I would agree, like, because that's, like, my first camo, the U.S. I went 1995 chocolate chip camo, which is very like light khaki, and that's been a challenge. Some models look better than the others, but I would say where you're going to stand out is the blends from your shadows on the pants themselves, and then you just go in very slimly and add the extra little details of the camo dots. But where you really excel is just painting that as a base first. Like I basically painted the pants first and then added the camo on so that I could highlight and shadow as needed where it was coming across the whole fatigues. I don't know. I mean, that's the best way I could say it over the air. Yeah. And honestly, it looks gotten lots of compliments. I think that it looks even more flashy when you can complement those muted colors because it's going to stand out from all of the rest.
Also, don't I would suggest not blaming your like a color scheme, because it almost sounds like you're like one could read this email in such a way as to perceive that you are saying, I can't win best painted, not because I can't paint, but because my color scheme. And I would say that is not true, and that's why I want you to go check out Historical Miniatures for some inspiration and to see what can be done. And good technique should win the day. So
Very true.
That would be my suggestion for improving your painting is to check out Historical Miniature Painters, because they do amazing works of art that are hyper-realistic and beautiful and extremely technically proficient, and maybe you can find inspiration there to take your drab models to the next level. But thank you so much for the email. And Kip, who you got for us next?
I got Dave Cooper. And Mr. Dave says, hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello. He says, congrats to Kip on getting married. I really hope that the wedding was
Did you not hear me?
What?
When I said me too?
Oh,
That's all right.
I'm a dumbass.
Nope, stopping the podcast. Sit. Walk it away.
So it's Cinco de Mayo here, and I totally didn't hear that Tom wanted me to get him another beer. So, Dave, I apologize. I'm going to keep reading. So, really hope that the wedding was awesome and that you guys had a fantastic day. We did. When Tom gets back, I'll ask him about it because he was in my wedding party. He was one of the groomsmen. Tom, did you have a fantastic day at my wedding?
I'm still getting my own beer. I did it myself because you went and got your own beer. Now I don't know which headphones left and right.
Anyways,
what are you trying to ask me?
Dave was asking if we had a fantastic day at the wedding, and I said yes. It was a very fantastic day. It was a lot of fun. You were in the wedding party. You were one of my groomsmen. You were one of my best men.
And that's, I understood having to get my own beer that day.
But yes, Dave, it was amazing. Honestly, it went by too fast. Honestly, I didn't get to see anybody that. There's never enough time when you're the one that's on the end. When you're the one getting married, you can't see anybody like that you want to. Like it's a blur. It really is. He says he's been married 12 years and is so lucky that his wife understands the need to still play toy soldiers. So he hopes that Kenzie understands as well. As of now, she does, even down to, like I already said earlier, planning on where I'm going to still have my hobby room after we have kids. So she knows that's important to me, and she wants to keep that a part of my life. I feel blessed to have that, so I agree. If you've been there for 12 years, Dave.
Toddlers and super glue, two great tastes.
Yes,
taste great
exactly
together.
right. I'm glad that it's still rocking. You're giving me hope, but you're giving me hope, brother. You are giving me hope. So on to his question. He said his question is related to a question that we recently answered about which is the worst model to build and paint. So
I remember that email.
Yep. He says, are there any models that you dislike so much that you refuse to use them in your list?
Yes.
Old Moodoo is. He's like, I know I do. I'm a dedicated Steel Phalanx player, but I can't bring myself to filter Rakatai. Really? Really? I literally almost dropped your page on the floor. Good thing I have good reflexes. I don't like to play their... He's like, I don't like that they're top-heavy, uber-calf muscle design and the pose. Ugh. I just can't bring myself to include them in a list and plonk them on the table, which is a shame, as list-wise, I think that I'm hamstringing myself. And he says, on the flip side, is there any other models that you field simply because you like the model so much and want to give it some table time? If I were a Hawk player, then Tariq Mansouri would have to be fielded most/all games. For me, he's the only 5 out there, despite my Steel Phalanx obsession. I do own the Tariq model. That then, sir, means it is a 5 in your book.
Yeah.
Says, I'm not sure about how his stats are or how he plays, but I know I'd fill him regardless. Take it easy, guys. Keep up the fine work, Dave Cooper. So let's take on the first one, Tom. I'm gonna chime in. Models that I would not field whatsoever.
Gakis and Praedas.
Tom hates Gakis and Praedas. I'm gonna stick with your Steel Phalanx. I don't like the Myrmidon Officer. All my Myrmidon officers are converted or just are Myrmidons that have the weapons that they have, so that you can tell the difference. I do not like the Myrmidon officer. I don't own it. I didn't want to buy it. It's just not my thing. I like the closed-faced, like Spartan helm Myrmidon look, and I don't want hey, I got a half face and I'm kind of pointing at the ground and it's like happy face time. Nope, don't like it. Thrakitai though, I don't mind them. Kind of like them. But to each his own. Beauty is in the eye of
most of the Shizvasti.
I like some of the Shizvasti though.
I like some of them. I like the Speculo Killer.
Speculo's cool. The Shrouded are neat.
I like the Noctifers.
Shrouded.
I don't like the Shrouded. I don't like the Siege Soldiers. I don't like Asswangs. I don't like Cadmus. I don't like Gwylos. I don't like Sheskin. I don't like any of them.
Wow. So
Speculo's cool.
I like Siege Soldiers.
Noctifers are real cool.
Noctifers cool.
Sphinx is neato. Mm-hmm. But mostly Gakis and Praetas.
You know what? So like models that I play that I won't field. Would never field an old mutt, but they redid them, so that's good.
5 seconds of dead air while you thought.
I know, right? I mean, so much now. It's not too much. It's mainly like the old. Nah, I'll just say Myrmidon officer for now. Ninja with sniper rifle, just because it would be hard for me to field. I'm doing Yu Ching, really hard for me to field that.
I just thought you didn't want it in your list. You just don't like the model.
I like the hacker, the one that's like surfboard. I like surfboard of the new one, but I'm gonna walk at you with the slow knife, the stand up ninja, and the stand up ninja is my least favorite out of all ninjas.
You know what? I thought of another one.
I'm gonna walk at you slowly.
If I played Nomads, couldn't field Morans.
Ooh, really?
Morans are bad.
They're so good stat wise. I would throw them out there, or you could Nathan them and just convert them.
I would use Crazy Koalas and Fusiliers, but I would not use.
Morans are pretty bad.
Nope, not gonna do it.
Even on my Ninja Hacker though, because I bought like I said, Surfboard Ninja, I clipped off the actual hair and then filed it down because I didn't like that.
You like the ponytail?
Nope, looks way better without it.
Cool.
Super imposing. Models that you would take just to do it. Susan. I want Susan in every list. The Sujan.
There we go. Okay.
We call her Susan in our local, or we call that model Susan
Thanks
in our
to
local group. Yeah. I threw that in just because I had to have it. It's just so fun to go and make transformer noises when it moves from cat mode to combat mode. But then stat wise, it's my crutch in Yu Ching now. That model's amazing. Not only looks wise, it's like baby Gujia. But oh man, that is probably my favorite model in Yu Ching right now. Sujan is my fave.
Cool. Was there anything else in that email?
That's what he's saying. Is there a model out there that you feel just because you like the look of the model? A Ninja Killer Hacker.
That's usually how I build army lists.
Yeah.
No.
Pretty much.
No.
Tiger Soldier. I've never landed a single drop roll on it.
Walk them in.
But in the missions I was playing, that was highly unlikely to do that. It's way more intensive. But they look so good.
You know why people don't...
Physique 12 sucks.
You know why people keep walking them in?
Evo
because
hackers.
They fail rolls, Kip. Because the possibility exists that you will fail that roll.
I don't fail.
But you have every time, apparently.
And I have every time. I will not believe it. Oh, man. There's plenty. Honestly, the list of models that I would play for the reason they look good is endless.
It's all of them.
This could be another 20-minute conversation.
So I'm doing hack for the Escalation League. So the Alpha Seed. He's a lot of points. I get 4 dudes for the price of him and 4 orders for the price of him. But he's really cool looking. Yeah. So I played him for a few weeks. That's the most recent example. But, it's... What?
Weak monks. The monk box. Literally played them because of Rogue One. I am one with the force. The force is with me. I'm one with the force. The force is with me. I'm one with the force. The force is with me. So I put them in every list so that I could say that while I throw smoke.
I went to get beer, but only for me. I went to get beer, but only for me.
Damn.
Hi there, Maya Knots.
I'm a horrible person today.
So I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's Brian. Brian writes in with a use for spray foam. Somebody asked about that expanding insulation foam.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so basically, this guy used some sticks, twigs, branches, and then sprayed it on the top like you would like fill an ice cream cone.
So like to make a tree?
And made trees.
Okay, that works.
The expanding foam. Yeah. So he said it looks like they were reinforced with hot glue because it probably didn't stick to the tree branch all that well. But yeah, stick it to a base, flock the base, and you get trees. So that was real
bushes.
Real quick one from Brian with another tip for using the expanding foam that a listener had written it about so long ago.
That's pretty smart, though.
So, Kip.
Hey, what's up?
We are in the middle of a MayaCast Master Glass contest. Since we're in the Master Class section.
We are.
Figured we should take a minute and remind everybody about our Quarter 2 contest for the winner of the coveted MayaCast Master Glass.
They look good.
The theme for Quarter 2 is Alive. So we want to see your take on the Alive crew. Everybody can take the Alive crew right now.
Yeah, it's awesome, too.
And so you've got Cypher, you've got Bit and Kiss, you've got Switch. Everybody can take them. We want to see your vision of them. Now, they can... So follow the conversion rules and the proxy rules from the ITS packet as far as rules for entry go, because we do want them to be Corvus Belli models, or a majority thereof, of course. But... yeah, you can convert them, or you can, paint stock models like in a unified scheme, maybe, or whatever it is.
Whatever your little heart desires.
And so the way we do our contests is we need a before picture because we want it new for the show and the stuff and the Facebook post. And so we don't want you to show it anywhere else online before the contest is over. And to show that it's new, we need a before picture of the models you're using in an unpainted state. And then we need after pictures. And you can send up to 8 for this contest since there's 4 models involved. You can send 8, up to 8. It doesn't have to be 8. It could be 2, could be 1. Of the completed models. And you put all of that in one email. We don't need like a before email and an after email. We just need one email once you're all done. And you can send those to Tom at MayaCast.com.
And Kip at MayaCast.com.
And if you could do us a favor, it really helps us out if you label your pictures with your name. So instead of it coming in with like IMG 174392668 and then we get 74 of those. Instead of that, name it, Bob Smith 1, Bob Smith 2, Bob Smith 3, and so on. And that'll really help us out. Bob Smith before. For the
that
before
works,
picture.
Yeah. Before.
So, yeah, if you could do that when you send the pictures in, that would be great. You have until the end, let's see, January, March, April, May. You have until the end of June, which means this is the first cast of May. So a month is already down in the Alive Challenge.
2 months.
1 month is already down in 2 months.
No, I say they have 2 months. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
1 month is already down.
You have 2 months left.
You have 2 months to go in the Alive Challenge to win the coveted MayaCast Master Glass, engraved and personalized with your very name or ITS name or whatever you want thrown on there.
Whatever you want.
So, yeah. Hope
I want to throw out there that it's not limited to a pint glass. We had Quarter 1 requested a rocks glass.
Whiskey drinker.
Yeah, and guess what? That looked amazing.
I have confirmation that the package was delivered, but I have not heard from him.
If you are the winner, could you please share on MayaCast forum or just email us so we can share it on the Facebook
Just
page.
let us know.
Yeah. Let us know you like it. It looked good.
Or let us know that it got there and it's like not at your neighbor's house because the tracking shows it was delivered. So hopefully you've received it. So, boom. A live crew, MayaCast Master Glass, quarter 2. Enter. The more entries we get, the more prizes we give out. And the prizes, now the engraved glass goes to the painting contest winner. But all of the prizes are
random.org.
Yeah, they are randomly selected from all entrants. So no matter your skill level, you have an equal chance to win. 1 submission per person, please. And looking forward to seeing all your cool ideas. Kip?
Yeah.
Time to go.
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
As always, we'd like to thank all of our patrons that help support the show over at patreon.com/MayaCast. Donating as little as $1 an episode or more, if you like, really helps us keep this commercial-free, keeps us doing the thing. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts to all of our patrons at patreon.com/MayaCast. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over there and check out what that's all about. We don't do exclusive content or any of that nonsense. All we do is give out prizes for donors. So thank you for your support.
Yeah, staying independent is the most fun at doing this and not having to sell out to anybody. You can check us out on Facebook.com/InfinityMayaCast. That is where we do all our interaction with all of our peeps. We do have a closed Facebook group that is growing by the day. You do have to ask to join so that we know that you're not going to be selling Oakleys or the next libido enhancer. And that is the MayaCast forum. Tom, where can they chirp us at?
We are on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter. We are at MayaPodcast on the Twitterverse. We really appreciate all of your 5-star reviews. Like in the text of the review, you can tell us how terrible we are.
Yeah.
As long as you make it 5 stars, that allows, that gets us to the top of the list, allows other people to find out about the podcast, helps grow, growing the show helps grow the Infinity community. So, whether it's, what are we on? Like Stitcher, SoundCloud? No, SoundCloud we had to pay, so we're not on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But we're on Stitcher and iTunes and wherever you can leave a review. Leave a 5-star review, even if you then tell us we're awful.
You can do that. I'm cool.
Just the 5 stars. And that way, people can find it. We can grow the community and hopefully get more players in your area by accident. Wouldn't that be cool? As always, you can reach out to us at tom@mayacast.com
and kip@mayacast.com.
And we will be back to see you next week where we will be talking about the Onyx Contact Force. So thanks for listening, and until next time, support your local game store.